Julie, there's so much news around this, the J6 story that's bubbling up, which I find remarkable. It reminds me in some ways of this wall story where they're auctioning off. Right at the end, it's like this last minute, screw you to Donald Trump and 76 million Americans who voted for him. But it's J6. Donald Trump has made no qualms about this. He's not been silent. He is planning on pardoning a lot of the J6 defendants. We know at least the ones that are sort of petty crimes, nonviolent crimes for sure, but maybe all of them. Despite that, you had a piece in Real Clear Investigations where you are outlining the speed at which these prosecutions are moving forward still. Please let us know that, and then we're going to get into the human confidential sources story next. So how fast are the prosecutions still moving forward?
So quickly, Joe Biden's Department of Justice, Matthew Graves, the D.C. U.S. attorney, a Biden appointee who is handling the J6 caseload. Andrew not only continues to ask for jury trials, and he's getting them, D.C. judges, believe it or not, continuing to put Trump supporters almost 4 years later before a jury made of D.C. voters who just voted 93% for Kamala Harris. So not only are they continuing jury trials, they're still asking for people to go to jail, even on those petty offenses that you're talking about, low-level misdemeanors, and they're arresting people. I think they arrested 4 or 5 people this week. And what the DOJ has argued, and most of the federal judges, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, is that President Trump's promise of a pardon has no impact on the judicial branch. These judges are saying we are independent. This is a separation of powers issue. If the president comes out on January 20th, he pardons everyone, so be it. But until then, we are marching forward with these cases as if they're legitimate and nothing is going to happen. Not only is President Trump going to pardon J6ers, but also he's appointed a new attorney general. And he will probably shut down the entire J6 investigation and prosecution on day 1 or at least the first week. So even the new indictments will go away. This is how desperate they are, Andrew, to maintain the crumbling J6 narrative. But even more despicable is continuing to put Trump supporters in jail and on trial. So yes, that piece at Real Clear Investigations, I quote several judges for what they are saying about this, as well as the Biden DOJ.
I want to quickly, just 1 second here, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. Now, have you heard any whisperings or rumblings that they might have their sentences, pardoned or commuted or whatever? I have not personally heard anything about that. But to your point, the seditious conspiracy stuff, I mean, these cases got blown completely out of the water and out of proportion. Have you heard anything amongst your sources that is also being considered?
Andrew, I am pushing publicly and behind the scenes to make sure that these defendants convicted of seditious conspiracy, which Americans have never been convicted of, Andrew. This usually is a charge reserved for foreign terrorists like the blind sheikh and his accomplices in the first bombing of the World Trade Center. The government brought seditious conspiracy charges, not about a bunch of guys who entered a government building non-violently. The Oath Keepers were there as former law enforcement and military to help police. We have video of Oath Keepers helping police inside of saying prayers in the rotunda. They weren't committing violence, but yet these judges, Judge Kelly, Judge Amit Mehta, allowing this rare charge to go against these defendants, knowing they would get easy convictions before D.C. juries. I think only 1 or 2 of them were acquitted of the seditious conspiracy charge. I think there were a couple in the Oath Keepers. They were convicted of other charges, though.
And Julie, how long are they spending behind bars? The different characters that got.
Enrique Tarrio, 22 years in prison. Stuart Rhodes, head of the Oath Keepers, 16 years in prison. Enrique Tarrio, the head of the Proud Boys, he was in Baltimore on January 6th. He wasn't even there. Convicted of seditious conspiracy, 22 years in prison. Ethan Ordine, who is seen on video walking through doors on the Senate wing side with Capitol police officers right there. Ethan Nordine commits no violence, 14 years in prison as a member of the Proud Boys. These were nothing but show trials. So the DOJ, the Biden regime, and the media could say this was an attempted insurrection.